Dr. Ketchum told me that our kids are out for harvest break this week and next week. So he told me I could do this project without students, and so it's gonna take a little less time than if I had a class to interact with. And so I'm just gonna go through our 120, Ag 120 history of the FFA as if I had a class. And like I said, it'll be a little shorter, but anyway, to start out with, our first important date for historical highlights with the FFA is 1917. And in 1917, the Smith-Hughes Act is passed. It's a congressional act that gives us funding for vocational classes. In the world in 1917, we're at the end of World War I, where mechanism and trench warfare has become the mode of war. And historically, it's a time where we need young people to be educated in mechanics and agriculture so that we can feed our nation and develop new types of machines. And so that's 1917. In 1928, we have the start of the FFA organization itself. And the first national convention is held in Kansas City, Missouri. And the first national FFA president is this gentleman right here. It's Leslie Applegate. And Dr. Lane is the first national advisor. In 1928, we have a few things going on in the United States. We're pretty prosperous still. It's right before the stock market crash, so things are going pretty good for the United States right now. In 1929, Idaho becomes the 17th state to receive a national FFA charter, and Malad is the first one to receive that charter. For our school here, the Moreland one is 1939, and the Snake River one is 1941. In the world, the stock market has crashed. Henry Ford is producing Fords like crazy. So mechanically, we're still producing quite a lot of things, and we still need students in these programs so that we can feed a workforce for the United States. In 1930, the official colors were adopted, and they are national blue and corn gold. They were adopted at the third national convention, and these colors are still the ones that we use today. As far as any type of exam you'd have with this, you have to have national blue and corn gold. Navy blue and gold don't work. It's got to be national blue and corn gold. In 1939, the national organization purchases some ground for its headquarters. They purchased 28.5 acres of George Washington's original estate at Mount Vernon. That's a picture of Mount Vernon and the estate itself. And that's where our supply headquarters are located currently. So if you order an FFA jacket or anything from them, it comes from Washington's original estate. Kind of cool. 1939 in the world. Europe is in war. The United States has stayed out of it so far, but it's definitely building to that. In 1948, the National FFA Foundation is founded, and it's just a national organization. In 1944, we're towards the end of World War II. Manufacturing is huge in the United States at this point, as well as agriculture, and we still need to educate students so that they can go into that workforce. In 1950, Public Law 740 is passed. This law gives us a federal charter. The president in 1950 is President Truman, and we are entering the Korean conflict as a nation. We're still in Korea. Troops have never left. So just remember, 1950 is the Public Law 740. In 1952, we get our first version of our magazine, the National Farmer. And you can see the different ones here. This is the National Future Farmer, and this is the New Horizons, which is the new magazine that we use now. But in 1950 is when this magazine started. And each student that is a member of the FFA receives one of these magazines when they're published. Usually I have a student do the slide advancing, so it isn't so disruptive. But anyway, in 1965, the New Farmers Organization, which is was an organization for African American students who were interested in agriculture, that is merged with the Future Farmers of America. In 1965, we've got a lot of civil rights stuff going on in the United States, and the FFA organization's right along with that, and they're merging with an African American organization. In 1969, women are admitted into the FFA organization. Prior to that, they could be members of the home ec stuff, and they had a jacket very similar to ours, but it was white. But 1969, we've got civil rights still going on in the United States, and women are now an integrated part of the FFA program. And in 1971, the alumni is organized. This is really important for our chapter. Well, probably for all chapters, but our chapter has a very, very active alumni. We give out anywhere from $10,000 to $15,000 in scholarships every year. So any students that are active members of the FFA can apply for that scholarship money, and they help us out with a lot of stuff. So the 1971 is really important for us. And the last date that I will cover is 1988. And this is when we changed from cows and plows to more of a national type organization. It's not Future Farmers anymore, it's the National FFA organization. And so like I said, it's not just cows and plows, it's public speaking, it's parliamentary procedure, it's all sorts of things. At this time, I would have the students go to our computer lab, which is just one classroom over, and they would look at an important date that is relative to them as far as the FFA goes, and they would bring it, I would give them 15 minutes for that. They would bring it back here to class, and then they would present what they found. My stuff's there on the board. I don't have anything else on the board just because we're on harvest break. But anyway, thank you.